Among the 130-plus hostages in Gaza are dozens of women who are being sexually assaulted, according to eyewitness testimony of freed hostages. One former hostage testified at the Knesset last week that some captors treat the Israelis like sex dolls, force them to wear inappropriate clothes, and say disgusting things during abuse. The testimonies of captured terrorists and other Palestinians corroborate the evidence of rape and sexual violence. Proof of life videos released earlier this month by Hamas show several young women, and there's evidence of clear physical abuse to their face and bodies, and experts are warning of additional abuse that's sexual and psychological in nature. With me now is Dr. Diddy Mymin Kahn, a trauma specialist and psychologist. Doctor, thanks so much for being with me. I'll note here that there is the UN envoy, at long last, has been sent to Israel. The UN envoy of sexual violence in conflict zones is in Israel, urging survivors to speak out, to come forward with their stories. As so much dialogue is happening over a hostage deal, how important is it, do you think, for survivors to be willing to share? And is it okay if they don't want to speak out publicly about the trauma they experienced?
Well, yes, of course it's okay for them not to have to speak up about the trauma that they shared. There is so much evidence of sexual assault already. I mean, there's even video evidence from October 7th. I mean, everyone's been, many of the people that have seen these videos have already been traumatized. How much more evidence does one need? I personally don't think that it's the responsibility of people that are survivors to bear witness to their own crimes. They don't have to feel guilty in addition to everything else that they don't want to come out and speak about it. There is so much evidence that I don't think anyone should feel that they have to. Of course they can if they feel it's something that's important to them, that's going to help them, that's going to move forward their own agenda, but they need to have their own agency. They don't need to feel that they have to do anything in order to help the hostages be released, because if we want to know evidence of sexual assault, we've got it. We've all got it.
Doctor, for some victims who speak out, they find it to be a cathartic experience. Others find it to be re-traumatizing. Why is that? What's the difference between how speaking out can be viewed by different survivors in such different ways?
Because every person is a world unto themselves. Everyone is different in terms of how they cope with life, not just in this realm, in every realm. And some people might feel that speaking out about things and advocating for themselves and others is something that's healing, is something that builds their resilience, is something that can help them. And for other people, it can be an absolute nightmare to think about even talking about it in any way to anyone, and can take a long time until they can even speak to their nearest and dearest, closest, or even a therapist about what they've been through, because it's been so horrendous that some people don't have words to put together to explain the depth of how they are feeling. And I think that everyone has to be respected, and each person does what they feel that they can do and want to do, and no one should be expected to do anything.
Doctor, I know that you have an expertise in trauma, as a specialist in trauma and sexual violence. I want to ask about the likelihood, perhaps at this point, or certainly the possibility, if not the likelihood, that some of these victims who have been raped are pregnant. And if there is a hostage deal in the days to come or weeks to come, victims will be returned home to Israel, they'll be freed, and carrying a fetus from their rapist, from all of the repeated sexual violence. Does that add an extra element of psychological trauma as they begin the healing journey?
Absolutely, of course it does. It's a extremely difficult situation to be in, and not just trauma, but also ways of adaptation, ways of dealing with life and deciding how they're going to go ahead in this kind of way. But, from as far as I know, we don't have any evidence that is the case at the moment, and each case unto itself and as it comes to light. But of course it does. Of course it adds a huge complexity.
Yeah. Doctor, anything else you would like to add as this important issue comes to light?
I just want to emphasize that people that have been through this extreme violence, have been hostages, should not have to feel that they owe anyone anything to bear witness to their own crimes. They should deal with rehabilitating and getting their lives back. And if part of that includes telling their story, then so be it. And if it doesn't, then so be it as well.
Doctor, thanks for your perspective. Great to have you on Night 24 News.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye.